Welcome back to The What?
Yes, sir.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 already.
I know.
It's going by fast.
Really enjoyed the first one, and we got some new topics, or new activities and different topics as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Sports will be today's main topic.
Yeah.
We're
No
going to be
Star
doing...
Wars.
No Star Wars, unfortunately. I mean, there'll be more in the future,
Yeah, there
but
definitely will be.
you're gonna have to wait for another episode.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start off with 2 controversial questions.
Yeah, that's
just kind
really
of
big.
go through them, what our opinions are on them, and consider all angles. And then we're gonna have a game later on with a possible brutal punishment,
Which I'm not looking forward to.
It will be interesting to see what happens on that.
Yeah, so we'll see.
But yeah.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah. So what's the first question?
What's the most physically demanding sport?
Okay.
And why?
I think this will be there are many different sports that I think that you could argue about.
Oh, you know what we almost did though? But first.
You're right.
We're gonna have to cut that part out.
Should we just like restart?
Okay.
So what's the first question?
Just. But first. You're up.
Say but first water?
Yeah.
Or should like we introduce the question and then say but first water?
Ooh, it's up to you.
I say we introduce the question first.
Oh, that's right. Because we introduced it and then we were like, but first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what's the first controversial question we're going to be talking about?
First controversial question for the day, Brad, is what is the most physically demanding sport and why?
Okay. I think that'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
Many different sports that I think you could argue for.
Yeah, for sure.
But first, water. Okay.
All right.
The most physically demanding sport. The first thing that comes to mind for me is for sure football, right? I mean, you're just constantly getting beat up, tackling, especially if you're like an offensive lineman. I mean, you're just pushing 300-pound guys around all the time.
For what, an hour almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, and especially like the practices too. The practices are brutal. I mean, you're out in the blazing sun.
Yeah.
And you're just grinding, tackling guys in those pads. I mean, it's a lot of tough work, and you have to be very strong, not only physically, obviously, but also mentally to be able to like
be going 100% that many times. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it's almost like you're repping, the amount of strength you're putting in consistently, and just practice alone.
Yeah.
It just takes an unhumanly amount.
Yeah.
And I would say just as well we're arguing physically, but the mental part about it, you don't even see it, man.
Yeah.
Like the amount of mental struggles these kids go through, and just like elite athletes too, is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think football is definitely, I would say that's the most popular.
Yeah.
Or that's definitely the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But another thing that I think of is like wrestling or boxing. I think those kind of are like they're not the same, but like kind of in a similar.
You definitely have to have the body built for those kind of sports.
Yeah.
Now this one's a little underrated, and it's kind of a hot take, but I have a good explanation for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with running.
Yeah.
Now I know we both run, so I kind of have a
little bit of a bias.
Yeah, biased point of view on this. But not many people can do it. I mean, if you put a football player and you told him to run a 5K at a race, I don't think he's running a good time.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when you see people out running, if like the average person's like, dude, like they're stupid. Like, why do you just go out there and purposely like go through that pain? And I think like why I would argue maybe for like football or something instead is it's like people don't realize that, because the main focus is on like the ball and stuff in like football, like they don't realize how much physical and mental strength goes into that. Like, even in like in basketball, like you're constantly getting pushed around and fighting for the ball, and then obviously in football as well.
Yeah.
And so like we're running, it's like it sucks. I mean, I don't know. It is like, I mean, the runs suck.
Yeah.
And it's very mental and physical.
Yeah. I would also say for football, I mean, the weather can play a role, but running in any condition that's not almost perfect is almost terrible.
Yeah.
And any other condition.
And I mean, you have to be in shape for it, but it's also like, it's really just a fight against yourself. And I think that's what some people might say is like, it's all just you against you. It's not like you're going up against other people who are physically stronger than you. You might be going up against people that are faster than you are, but really only affecting you if you let it get. It's not physically really affecting you. It's only mentally affecting you, and so that's why I think, for me at least, I think running is still up there. But I think since it's really just you versus you, it's not like. It's still very physically demanding, and I mean, you do have to be in shape. You do have to train very hard for it. But I mean, I think you do the same thing in other sports, and it involves other people, and it involves like a ball or something too, where you're focusing on more than just the physical, but also like getting the ball and like, you know what I'm saying? There's being in shape and also having the skills of something. I think that's why, for me, I would probably go football, even though I do think you can make a solid argument. So like, again, like what would you say for running? Like.
So my argument is, not many people can run and like take the pain.
Yeah.
Running in general can be easy, because if I said run 10 feet, it's relatively easy. Most people can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I said run 10 miles, I don't think many people are going up and doing that.
Yeah, I mean, running 10 miles, you can't. 99% of people can't just go out and do that. You have to train for that. I mean, obviously, like a marathon, anyone has to train for that. But like even just a few miles, a lot of people can't do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think running's up there. I mean, is there anything else? I mean, any argument for like wrestling and boxing, like I was saying earlier?
I would argue for wrestling and boxing, but my thing is, again, it's the most. It's just they all fit in the same category, right? You all have to have the same build. For wrestling, you gotta have a lot of muscle. Boxing, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Football, you relatively fit in the same category. But the thing that stands out is in wrestling, not only are you isolated just like cross country, you're fighting another man in that arena.
And it's just you against him. You can't like I feel like sometimes in sports you can get a little like, you know, for maybe one football play, like, you know, a receiver doesn't exactly run the right route, right? But it might not even matter.
Yeah, one snap, you don't have to go 100%.
It's you versus him, bro. Like, and you gotta be on it 100% of the time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've never wrestled, but I can tell the pressure that some of those people are under is insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure the training for that is also brutal.
And it's not just the physical side. I know that was the question, but again, the mental side of some of these sports is just the battle these people face is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of mental strength you'd have to step into an arena with another dude and know that you have to take him down, and it's the only way that you win, is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely respectable, but I still don't know, because I feel like sometimes we get caught up in the mental side, and if we're talking strictly physical, I mean, I can honestly see running. I mean, it takes training every single day, and I feel like, because, I don't know, I feel like, because if you're a basketball player, right, you have to be very in shape, or like soccer too. Yeah. You have to be in shape.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna go out and run 10 miles, but a lot of more like sprinting and short distance stuff. But then you also physically have to be able to know like where to be on the field and like how to use the ball. I mean, obviously you gotta like be able to dribble, to shoot, like all that, and that's all physical too.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's more than just being in shape. It's also knowing like the game, and
I think it definitely does play a role, being mentally there in the game, but also having the physical capacity to be mentally there.
Yeah.
So being fast enough to make those plays that you know you have to make is definitely a big thing, because I mean, in like soccer, for example, you have to be very physically active, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in most plays, you have to know exactly where to be and then have the mental capability to perform those tasks. So I mean, it's just very difficult.
And I feel like soccer, like a lot of soccer kids are good at like track and cross country because they're running so much, and so it's almost like soccer and cross country aren't the same thing, but it's like soccer is probably the closest, or you're doing the most amount of running in soccer, while also having to be very good with the ball too. And so I think you could go soccer too, because you're getting a very good mix of high intensity running and skill with the ball.
Oh, for sure. I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
So I say we shift gears here. I know we've been talking about physically demanding sports for a while.
Yeah. What would your final answer be if you had to give one?
Okay, so I guess before that, I'm still sticking with. Actually, I'm gonna change my answer. Originally I was gonna say running, but when we kind of debriefed it a little bit, I want to say wrestling. I mean,
really?
Not only, well, you have to be physically demanding, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, you have to be so strong.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, like, if we're really taking the mental can affect your physical too,
yeah,
right?
Literally. I mean, that plays a role.
Yeah. So I feel like that can be or like if the mental should be considered.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was going to go football, and then you kind of got me on running.
Yeah.
But I think I might go soccer.
Soccer.
Like what I was just saying, because
That's a twist.
It has a very good mix of running. I mean, that field's huge, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, and like in football, I mean, I guess you can maybe, I don't know, I'm not a big soccer guy, but like in football, you get a break after every play and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, like soccer, you're just going, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's still a very big field, and you still, and if you're like, well, if you're like an offensive lineman, you're not going to be like engaged with the ball. Yeah. Where like soccer, you're always trying to, I feel like, get the ball or like trying to defend. And again, you're also running around the whole time, so I feel like, again, I don't know, I'm not a soccer player or anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like that might be my one.
I would say that, but before we go, I want to say soccer and those kind of things are team sports. So it's almost like you can let off your physical part of the actual sport for a minute and put it on someone else. And I think that is the reason I'm choosing wrestling, which is so low. I mean, even cross country, you can make the argument your team's still backing up. Same thing for track. Wrestling, it's just you.
You have to be physically very strong, like muscular. You have to have endurance to be able to keep up with all of it.
Yeah.
And then you have to mentally be able to physically beat that guy up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's definitely a valid opinion.
Yeah. So you have soccer as your final answer?
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back and forth on all these, but I'm gonna just stick with it. Probably not the right answer, but I'm gonna just go with it.
It's an answer.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with wrestling and ready for the next topic. The next question.
Next question.
Not topic. My bad.
We're shifting. We're gonna stay in sports, but we're gonna. I guess it won't be as controversial. Well, I mean, it will, but it's gonna be different. So we're gonna say, just who's gonna win the Super Bowl next year?
I feel like a really good question.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many good teams right now.
There really is.
And I mean, this is before like the trade deadline for next year, and I mean, there's still a ton of stuff that can change. We don't know how the rookies are going to be.
Real.
But I mean, it's just preseason predictions.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears. I don't think they're going to be.
Bears won't be Super Bowl winners, but I mean, they're going to be scary.
They're going to be good.
I think
they could be good,
and they're so dynamic.
And their conference isn't going to be insanely difficult for them to get out of.
Who even is Vikings? I think are in there.
Vikings, Green Bay, and I believe Detroit.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty good. I mean,
so
Vikings. I don't think will be a threat right now, but Lions and Packers, those are both good teams.
Lions, Packers are good. Here's my thing though. Let's go to the Packers. Jordan freaking Love.
Oh my gosh.
He's gonna be deadly.
And they have a very young, good receiver core too. And did they get a run? They lost Aaron Jones.
They did. I think they traded.
Oh, they got Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's still that's a nasty offense.
I think that's a good offense.
They're still a young team.
Yeah. Problem is, where's the defense?
I mean, they almost beat the 49ers, bro.
They did. A lot of teams. I mean, towards the end, I mean, the 49ers had a kind of an interesting year when I watched it.
Yeah.
But I feel bad for them. I think they went to the Super Bowl again this year, right?
49ers?
Yeah. Yeah, and they lost
to the Chiefs,
which is
in overtime too,
which is just
crazy.
sad. I mean, you gotta think that 49ers team, riding on Brock Purdy, who I don't think he's that great, but he's the quarterback they need. He hasn't gotten injured, which most San Francisco quarterbacks do.
And I mean, just what he's done being the last pick is just unprecedented, I think is the right word.
We'll go with that.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. We'll go with that.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think some people would definitely say, I mean, they lost in 2020, but that was before who even was their quarterback in 2020 when they lost to the Chiefs?
I want to say like Jimmy Garoppolo or something. I don't know.
But I mean, they lost the year before. Like, they're one of, if not the first or second best team in the league.
They're definitely
but I don't like them, and I just don't know if I have enough faith in them. Even though Brock Purdy is a solid quarterback, I don't know if it's going to be enough against
a Super Bowl winning team.
Especially the AFC. There's so many good teams.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's talk about I believe the Chiefs are in the AFC, correct?
They are.
So I want to talk about the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl this year.
It's hard because, like, especially when you think they've won back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. It's hard.
I don't think he's the best quarterback in the league.
Okay, well, I just disagree with that.
Okay, hold on. Look at the team he's got around him, though. And
his receiver core is not anything spectacular.
Yeah, but his offensive line is pretty good.
He's got a good defense.
He's got Travis Kelce, who, I mean, I'm not saying Travis is good, but he's not bad at all. He's no Gronkowski, but I mean, he's insane.
But there's many other teams that have much better offenses, and like the 49ers have a better receiving core, a better running back, and probably as good of a defense. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes is no doubt the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he's won 3 Super Bowls, and he's, what, like 28, 26?
Yeah, I mean, these are all good points, but I mean, he's just... I think the NFL also kind of helps him a little bit. There's some times where it's like, oh, he threw an interception, somehow there was a pass interference or something. I mean, coincidentally.
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't a quarterback thing, this is a Super Bowl team. They got Xavier Worthy from the draft, who was he had the new combine record for the 40-yard dash. Okay. So I mean, he's
fast.
He's no Tyreek Hill, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes played with a very fast receiver, so I think he'll fit in with their program or thing really well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard for me to bet against them, but again, I think it's like the Bills are good, right? The Texans will be good. The Browns will be good. The Bengals will be good.
I want to talk about the Texans in a minute, but
we will. But like, what I was gonna say is like, when I think about them matching up in the playoffs, I'm just like, I don't feel like I can bet against Patrick Mahomes. But then again, it's like, he's not perfect, and he's not. They're not gonna win every time. So I think I have a team in mind that I honestly think might beat them. But let me hear what you say about the Texans.
So we're not talking about the Chiefs. We're gonna go to the Texans here. C.J. Stroud.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
I love him. I'm not gonna say he's my favorite player because he's not. But him, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell.
I mean, already you saw what he did with just Nico Collins.
Literally.
Give him Tank Dell, back from injury, and then Stephon Diggs, and then Joe Mixon, running back.
Yep.
Like,
I forgot about that.
Like, bro, that is stacked.
That's a good offense right there. He's got weapons anyway. Looks, and the defense isn't bad.
They upgraded in the draft.
Yeah.
They're not the best defense in the league, but I think the offense has so much potential that a decent defense could be enough.
Yeah, I mean, if the offense has a bad day, you obviously want a good defense, but I think their defense is good enough that their offense won't have a bad day.
I agree. And some people are talking about, like, CJ having a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
And I can understand, but they've just upgraded so much that I just think there's no way that he'll have a slump. Maybe he doesn't have, like, huge progress from last year, but there's no way he's going to, like, perform worse.
Yeah.
Like, he's still... I mean, that core is just crazy.
I think we're going to see an improvement. I mean, a lot of sophomore slumps is talked about, but I think we're going to see a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Only thing we hope doesn't happen is injury. That's really what I hope.
And that is true. And that's the thing. Like, if Patrick Mahomes gets injured, Chiefs are done, and that could screw up our predictions. But I mean,
So I'm going to say it's kind of hot, but I really like the Texans. Not as Super Bowl champions, but I like them in the talk.
I mean, I think them, along with many other teams, could easily make a run. I mean, another team that I was thinking about is the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of been forgot about since they had a slow start and then Joe Burrow got injured.
Yeah.
They lost Tyler Boyd, I think. I'm not sure. I don't think T. Higgins is left yet.
I don't think he has. I thought he requested trade or something like that.
He did. I know he did. But, I mean, I think Jamar Chase is still really good. I think Joe Burrow will have a really good year.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if they'll win, but I still think they can be a serious threat to the Chiefs or the Texans.
Yeah.
And like, I just have a feeling that they're gonna have a really good year after people kind of forgot about him after Joe Burrow getting injured this year.
Yeah. I don't know. Even with Joe Burrow coming back, you got to see they spent so much money between Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Just to keep them. Do they have enough to pay for the rest? I mean, a good team.
Because they lost Joe Mixon, like you just said. I just don't know. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are respectively two of the best in the league at their positions.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if they have enough besides them to really make a deep run.
I mean, defenses can always double cover and put blitz, and it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, between the two of them, I don't know if it's going to be enough to combo against some other teams.
Yeah.
Especially the Browns defense. I'm sorry. I'm a Browns fan.
Yeah.
But
Browns have a very good defense. I don't know. I don't think I trust Deshaun Watson.
I'm not disagreeing here.
I mean, but the amount of injuries they went through, and then obviously the whole Joe Flacco thing, just to be able to make the playoffs, go 11-6 is crazy.
Yeah.
So what they could do if they can stay healthy this year, if Nick Chubb can stay healthy, I mean, it's gonna be scary.
Let's see if Nick Chubb comes back to being where he was. If
Yeah.
Nick Chubb can return to the same level or anywhere near the same level, I think the team has a chance of making the playoffs. I don't see a Super Bowl in their future anytime soon, though.
I don't either, but if Deshaun Watson could show up, Nick Chubb, like you said,
that could be good. And they just got Jerry Jeudy.
What are the Jerry Jeudy?
Jerry Jeudy,
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
I mean, that's a good offense. If Deshaun Watson could show up, that's a good offense.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a very splotchy, but I watched some of his highlights. We saw some improvements. We saw some major shots downfield.
Yeah.
We saw very good, and then we saw the throw backwards. We saw fumbles. We saw wrong play calls. We saw all of it from him. And it's just like it's really confusing on if he's a good decision or not.
Yeah, and then another team in the AFC is the Bills too.
The Bills, I don't know how to feel about them. I haven't done much research.
I mean, it's like they've had a very good team for many years. I mean, I know they struggled with injuries last year on the defensive side. Okay. It's like they haven't been able to get it done, especially against the Chiefs. But they lost Stephon Diggs. They lost, huh?
They don't have a Super Bowl.
They do not.
Okay.
They lost Stephon Diggs. But they did add Keon Coleman in the draft, who I think will be really good, especially with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
By far.
James Cook, their running back, really showed up this year.
I mean, we saw who let James Cook, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
And defense is good if they can stay healthy. I honestly think any of the teams we just mentioned could.
You know,
will they?
I want to talk about the AFC North. Go ahead and look at that conference. The Baltimore Ravens.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the Ravens.
You got the Baltimore Ravens, who I think legitimately could be a Super Bowl contender.
I think everyone we're talking about could be contenders.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, they added Derrick Henry, bro. Like that's insane.
That's gonna be a tough. I mean, between Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, wherever that ball goes, it's really.
Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers for Lamar's targets. I mean, that's stacked, but.
Their defense is actually
their
good.
Defense is very good.
I mean, I don't know many of the players on it, but I've seen them play. They're very solid, I would say. But I would say that just the AFC North in general is going to be someone to mess with. I mean, you got the Browns, Ravens,
Bengals.
Steelers, and the Bengals. But the Steelers and Bengals are a little iffy, right?
Steelers will be weird with the quarterback situation. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
Well, something was going on with their head coach, Mike Tomlin.
I don't get that. What has he been, like a winning record, 17 straight seasons?
Yeah.
Like, bro.
And then they're still like talking about how he's being a bad coach recently, and it's like sometimes they go through rough patches, man. Yeah. Andy Reid didn't win that, and Bill Belichick didn't always start with Tom Brady, so it's like he's got him time.
Yeah.
I would say it was definitely an interesting start. But I would say the AFC North is going to be someone to mess with. Pittsburgh, I don't really see them anytime soon in the playoffs. No. As well as for the Bengals. I guess I'm a little biased here, but I just don't see that team being good.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with a lot of these teams is all those teams you just mentioned are very good and have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But it's like, once it gets to the playoffs, it's just a whole different game.
Literally.
And that's why, like, it's hard for me to see any other team beating the Chiefs. And I mean, I know they will. But it's just like Patrick Mahomes has showed up time and time again in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they've said it. I mean, people have said it. I've seen videos of it. I've seen a lot of things, but it's just like, they're correct.
Yeah. So it's like, all those teams I think could definitely make a run, but are they going to be able to get past the Chiefs? I think they can.
Mm-hmm.
But who would be your AFC pick in the Super Bowl? Not winning, but just who would be the AFC team that you would have in it as of now?
Okay, I'm biased. I'm not gonna say the Browns, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs only because Patrick Mahomes just reminds me of like Joe Flacco in the playoffs. Like he just reminds me of somebody that's like he's good, but when he hits the playoffs, he's just like a different animal.
Yeah. See, What I do with predictions is, especially in like the situation where there's a lot of good teams, I just like to trust my gut. I don't want to go off of stats or look at anything. I just want to say, like, when I look at this team, who do I really think's gonna get there?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'm not a Texans fan. I'm a C.J. Stroud fan.
Yeah.
And so I want to go there based off of bias, but
they might be a
know.
tough team.
I think it'll be them or the Chiefs, and I think, well, you know, they're talking about the three-peat for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And what I would think would be very interesting, and I think honestly could happen, is the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, and so the three-peat is, you know, becomes even more of
reality.
a topic.
Yeah.
But then I feel like they could maybe lose it. Has Patrick Mahomes lost in the Super Bowl? No, he lost to Tom Brady.
Yeah, he lost to Tom Brady. Which, I mean, that's not surprising.
Are there any other NFC teams you think besides the 49ers that have a legitimate chance?
So this is kind of controversial, but I think one of the Hardball brothers is going to the Chargers, correct?
Jim.
Is their NFC, correct?
The thing with them is I don't think they have anyone besides Justin Herbert to really get them in the Super Bowl.
But anywhere that man goes, the success is close to follow.
You think?
I mean, stats show it.
They lost their running back, Austin Eckler. They lost their receivers. They did draft a receiver, but Justin Herbert is very good.
Yeah, sometimes the best teams are the ones you don't think will be good.
You are right. I mean, Packers came out and this
literally.
year, right? So I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
I would say that they're the only ones besides the 49ers that I really see going anywhere.
You don't think like the Lions again? I think the Lions. I mean, they have the same team they had last year.
Lions are good.
They almost beat the. I mean, they just straight up choked.
The Lions.
They had one bad half against the 49ers.
Yeah, but we've seen with the Lions, and history has shown this. Whenever they have a good team, I mean, anywhere in history, right? They get super there, and then it's just like it falls right back.
But if they even had a good team, didn't they? Like, wasn't this year the first year they've been to the playoffs in like 30 years or something?
Yeah. What was Sanders?
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders. That year they went to the playoffs, but I believe they lost in the NFC Championship game. I want to say.
I'm not sure. Not
really positive on that one. You have to fact check me. But his kind of era, they got so good over the past. Like, didn't make the playoffs. Next year they did. Mm-hmm. I think they got to the NFC Championship game. Cannot remember. And then it's just like everything went downhill from there.
Yeah. Do you think maybe we already talked about them a little bit, but do you think the Packers maybe could show up?
I want to see the Bears. I want to see the Bears.
They're gonna be good, but I just think Caleb Williams' first year.
That's just not gonna happen.
I just don't think it's good enough. And I think the 49ers are probably the favorites for the NFC right now, but
yeah.
I don't feel like it's gonna happen. I think another team will make it.
Yeah.
Are there any other NFC? Eagles? I think the Eagles or Cowboys.
But the Cowboys always choke.
Cowboys always choke. I think they're still gonna be good, but they're not.
Hey, Dak can get you this close. That's all he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to have a team around him, and I just don't think he has that. Not yet.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb. They got Zeke back.
Yeah, but it's not happening. I
think they'll be like a first-round exit.
I think the Eagles got who did they get for their running back? They got something big, didn't they?
They lost DeAndre Swift.
Saquon
Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley. And I mean, that's going to be big. The Giants didn't have anything to really help him, but the Eagles, I think, will.
They looked like the best team in the NFL the first half of the season. Remember, they were like 10-1, and they lost like 5 of their last 6. I mean, they just choked super hard at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I think that can give them some fuel to the fire to really come out. And
we'll see.
I would love to see the Eagles-Chiefs rematch at the Super Bowl.
That would be nice.
Although, Jason Kelce retired, I believe.
So
I doubt he comes back.
Let's go with. I feel like Jason Kelce doesn't make a huge difference in that team, though. I mean,
you don't think?
I don't
he's
think
a big part of the tush push, bro.
This is true, but I don't think he makes a big enough difference to where the team's going to be completely thrown off.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good athlete and he's a really good center, but it's not going to be enough to throw off their whole dynamic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say what it looks like for the NFC and the AFC. My team from the NFC is kind of hot out there. This is tough.
Don't say the Bears, bro. Don't say the Bears.
It's not going to be the Bears. It's definitely going to be the Eagles.
You think?
Okay.
I feel like I could see that.
I could see the Eagles.
The 49ers, I still think they're the favorites, but I like to trust my gut, and I have a feeling that it won't be the 49ers this
Eagles,
year.
Far out, Eagles, Texans. I'm saying the Chiefs
that would be a fun
get stood up in the AFC Championship game, and it makes it a bit spicy. I think C.J. Stroud doesn't have a sophomore slump. I think he has a super sophomore year.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I mean, their potential is just as high as any
just
team in the NFL
yeah.
right now. I mean, they could be so good. I mean,
yeah.
What C.J. Stroud did in his rookie year,
yeah,
with Nico Collins, pretty much that's it. I mean, what he could do as the more he learns.
But Deshaun Watson's good. You're seeing an Eagles-Browns Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, even if Deshaun Watson plays to his ability, that he has a very good. I mean, probably one of the best teams overall. I mean, one of the best defenses.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper is very underrated. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the league.
Yeah.
There's a very good group around him, but like, is he a Super Bowl caliber quarterback?
Okay.
Even with a good team around him.
My thing is, if the Browns made it to the playoffs on a team that was literally walking on crutches, now that they have an okay quarterback and the old team is off crutches, they made it there with somebody that came off the couch, and they beat the 49ers with somebody who shouldn't even be playing football. So I think they're relatively a good enough team to go that far if Deshaun Watson shows up, but if he's not there, I really wouldn't put it in the cards.
Yeah. So I think, I feel like I have to say that I'm not going to go with the Chiefs. That's just lame.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I don't want to copy off of you. But I like your thing. I feel like the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably being a little biased, and I think the hype around you getting Stephon Diggs and stuff is kind of peaking. And it'll start to die down.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like C.J. Stroud is going to just excel at an even higher level with a better group around him. Because I don't think I would. I think I'll go Texans. I like Texans Eagles. I mean, I don't want to copy off of you, but I like that.
No, so they already hear it's Texans Eagles.
So who do you think's gonna win that?
I'm gonna say this only because the emotions are gonna be so high for this player. I mean, I'm sorry, C.J. Stroud is amazing, but when you put him in a situation like the Super Bowl and his second year playing in the NFL, I just think the tensions will be. He's not going to crack under the pressure, but he's definitely going to feel it, and it's going to be harder for someone like Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, who's been there before, who's lost, who wants to win one, who has a team of veterans who's really determined to, rather than a young team who's like, we can try again next year.
So I agree and disagree.
Yeah.
I agree with. I do think the Eagles would win that game.
Yeah.
But your thing with C.J. Stroud, I think that he actually improves when the pressure is on. I mean, from college, like in that Georgia game, they lost. But I mean, that was the best game of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he just showed up when they were, like, no one expected Ohio State to win that game. I mean, they weren't even really supposed to get in. They lost to Michigan like 2 weeks before. They weren't even supposed to get in the playoffs. And I mean, he showed up.
Yeah.
And then, like in the playoffs this year, or last year, I guess, I mean, sorry, but I mean, he pooped on the Browns.
Yeah.
And then, I mean...
Well, I think the Browns kind of gave up after Joe Flacco started throwing the ball to the other team. But, yeah, he
and then, I mean, he sucked against the Ravens. I mean, that was a bad game against the Ravens. And, I mean, I kind of expected that. But I think he doesn't get affected, and in fact, maybe even does better when the stakes are higher.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a fair point.
But I still, I think the Texans would be really good, but I think a Super Bowl is definitely coming for them in the future for C.J. Stroud, but I don't think it'll be this year. I think the Eagles. Honestly, if you would have told me before we started talking about this, I would have guessed that. I would have questioned it, but as you talk things out, your perspective changes, and I feel like the Eagles. I mean, they have a very good team. Again, like they looked like the best team in the league for half the year last year. Adding Saquon Barkley is scary. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. Jalen Hurts is still very good. Again, like they lost some offensive line, but I still think
they're relatively good.
Yeah, I think. Again, it seems kind of weird to say that now, but just I think again, like there are many good teams. I think it'd be funny because I think the AFC has a lot of better teams overall. So I think it'd be funny, and I could see an NFC team ending up winning it all.
Yeah, I guess all in time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Eagles, Texans, Super Bowl winner, Eagles.
That's like a very again. I would not have expected that.
Okay,
to say that.
But no one would have expected 49ers. I mean, I guess you would have predicted 49ers Chiefs, looking at the statisticals, but not statistical, but the stats.
Yeah.
But no one would have predicted things that would have happened in the playoffs, and I think that same thing will show. Although these teams now are just better.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, like the Eagles, they've already been there.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all of them have already been there. I think they're probably pretty frustrated about that end to their season, and like I was saying with like the Bengals too, people probably are starting to count them out, or not count them out, but
say they're starting to start a streak.
Yeah.
So they want to break that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think those are definitely. I don't know if I would say hot takes, but not like a popular.
Yeah,
take.
definitely not a popular vote, but I think it's the right choice.
Yeah.
After thinking about it,
we'll see. I mean, I could see us being right, and also, I mean, there's just so many good teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, especially in the AFC, that I think there's a lot of possibilities. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I just want to see who can beat Patrick Mahomes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. So our final topic, which is actually a game, right?
Yeah, I call it a game.
Is a game where I have to guess your top 5.
Top 5 NBA players of all time.
Of all time. That makes it quite disappointing. I have 8 guesses.
You have 8 guesses, yeah. I don't necessarily like these kind of rankings because like we never got to see, Wilt Chamberlain play. We never got to see Allen Iverson play.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard for especially like us to make them.
Yeah.
And I kind of just made this up on the fly.
Okay.
But I mean, they're all gettable players for sure.
Okay.
I mean, they're definitely all definitely top 5 players in a lot of people's lists. So.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to guess them in order. You just have to guess that they're in there.
Okay.
So.
So my other thing is, if I don't get all of them right, what happens?
You have a punishment. Now the punishment is going to be.
Okay.
So, you got a hose.
Alrighty.
A hose has water.
I do have both those things. Yes.
That water is cold. Very
Most
cold.
likely cold. Yeah.
And it comes out fast.
Yes.
I will spray the living poop out of you until you are numb because of how cold the water is.
Freak, dude.
And then I'll have Shelly pick me up. You can deal with the rest.
Okay.
But I think that you can definitely get under 8 guesses, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Alright.
Before we get into it, water. Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Alright. Fire away.
Michael Jordan.
No, unfortunately, he's not going to be on here today. Yeah, no, he's number 1. He's number 1.
Okay, so that's on there. Definitely Kobe Bryant.
He is. He's number 4.
Kobe Bryant's 4?
Yeah.
Okay, LeBron
Wait,
James.
maybe I shouldn't tell you that.
LeBron James.
LeBron's number 2. This might be the quickest series or whatever ever.
LeBron James, and I'm guessing 5 of them, right? I got 3.
So you have 3 and 5 left.
And so I still haven't used up my strikes.
3. You still have 5 guesses to guess 2 players.
Wow, okay. Stephon Curry? Steph Curry?
No.
Curry's not on there. Okay, so we don't have Curry on there.
I
we
think
have LeBron
Curry,
rated higher than Kobe.
I think Curry can be argued for top 10, but he's not top.
Not top 5. Okay,
I think
so Bill Russell.
Influential, yes.
Bill-
No.
Bill Russell's
Bill
not.
Russell's
Oh
not
God,
on
it's gonna be really bad.
So
okay.
that's 5 guesses right there. So
I'm gonna say Kareem.
Kareem's number 3.
Okay, so now I'm down to 1.
You have 2 guesses, 1 player, number 5 on the list. Number 5 you would think would be the hardest. Yeah.
Can I ask a hint for a hint since I only have 2 guesses left?
Maybe you gotta guess one first, and if you don't get it right, maybe I'll give you a hint.
Gosh, the 5th best player that you think of all time.
There's so many
But
players
you said
that
you've
could be.
never seen Wilt Chamberlain play.
That doesn't mean he was on the list. I was just giving that as an example. He could be. I
Is
mean,
it Tim
he scored
Duncan?
100 points. Is that your guess?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I thought about him. But I just don't know if he can crack
I
the
was
top
really
5.
trying
He doesn't
to
have
go
enough
that way.
championships. I don't think.
Yeah.
Actually, well, he might have the same as this guy, but I don't know.
It's not AI because it's just not AI. So what's my hint?
It's
What's
not,
my hint?
It's not AI.
What's my hint?
Is there a certain question you want to ask, or?
No, I think just give me a good hint. That's fine.
I'm trying to think of one that's will be helpful, but won't give away too much.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking team, but that's probably gonna narrow
It
down
really
too
came
much.
down to the last guess too.
Position, yeah.
Literally.
I mean, this is for all the marbles.
That literally wasn't even
This is-
planned. Now that I say that's gonna sound like it was, but.
Nah, that would give it away. You know, I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
He played for the Lakers.
He played for the Lakers. Okay. Oh, I know it. Okay. I think I know it. Oh, I don't know. This is the fifth bust. He's got to be worse than Kobe.
I mean,
Did he play for more than one team or just the Lakers?
I'm not. I actually don't know.
You don't know who played for what
I
team?
don't know. But I don't feel like that would give away. I don't know.
Can you cut part of this?
Yeah.
I know who it is, but I don't know if I say it, then I'll lose. I kind of want to get punished.
Well, who are you thinking?
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. But what do you mean, like?
But I kind of want to get the punishment so that way we have viewers. Yeah. I'm gonna guess Shaq. I'm gonna go with Shaq.
It's not. That's a
Dude.
good guess though, and
Yeah,
that's what
that's
when you were asking if there were multiple, if he played on
Yeah.
multiple teams, because Shaq is like known for playing on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, if I say no, then he's gonna know that it's not Shaq.
It was
and
between
it's-
Shaq or like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, so it was Magic.
Oh, okay. So at least I had it in the right. Does that give me points? Like.
No.
Oh.
Heck no.
So I still
You're
lost.
doing the punishment. We're doing the punishment. But yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like that would have given away too much, and so I thought, well, I can give him the Laker hint because he could go two different ways. I think because I think Magic, because I like Shaq. Shaq might be my number 6.
Yeah.
And Shaq and Magic could both easily be there.
Yeah. I would really surprised you didn't put Bill Russell on there.
Yeah, I mean he has a lot of championships, but it's just like he played so long ago.
Or no Larry Bird. That kind of surprised me too.
He was another one I was thinking about. But another thing is Shaq was more recent and a more known, I guess I would say, especially for our younger generation. So that's why I didn't I didn't do that on purpose to put Magic over Shaq, but I mean that was.
So I noticed at the start of the video, or I guess podcast, sorry, we forgot to tell the viewers where we are.
Well, we're outside.
We're outside.
As you can probably tell, we're on some chairs. We're at a house.
Indeed.
In Ohio.
Yeah, that's good information. good
in case you guys couldn't tell this whole episode.
Yeah, this whole episode.
You know, we're outside on a porch.
Season 1.
Season 1's over?
No.
Okay, good.
We probably have like 3 more episodes in season 1?
Well, we'll see. I think we'll play it by year.
Okay. I mean, you guys just comment down below what you guys think. How many episodes we should have. I mean, considering these things are about 30, 40 minutes long. Good for long car rides.
Alright, you ready?
But first.
Water. Well, you're about to have a lot of water.
We are literally without a lot of water. We have to cheers. I think Brad's forgetting tradition. We're not even a season in yet.
Oh, I guess I gotta chug it.
That's the last water sport. Ah.
There we go.
I will spray you.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. There's a little